So for my fourth and final interview, I am interviewing the man now that he's done coming out from behind the camera. The man who is behind Team Liquid's Rebirth. This is so hilarious to interview this man because he's shot so many interviews and that kind of thing. Now he's finally on camera. Damian Estrada. What is your Twitter?
At Damian Estrada.
That's very creative. Did you spend a lot of time thinking of that?
I like to brand properly, and to put like a TL or a Zubu in front of my name might have been a misstep. You know?
So formerly of Azubu, where you did the Rhodes show, and then because you were so uncreative, you decided to just continue to do that show when you moved to Team Liquid. So anyway, let's talk about Rebirth. What was it like filming and creating that? Because I think so many people have been really impressed with what you've been able to show.
I think I don't know how to explain what it was like, but I'd say the main focus of the show is to like kind of communicate what's actually happening in a way that doesn't like endanger the team. So like if there's an argument that's like very specific that can't necessarily go public, you kind of have to like figure out how to make that obtainable but not too obvious, right? So it's like figuring out the fine line between being transparent with not being exactly precise as to what some things are.
So I think this is kind of an interesting topic because I'm in a situation where I don't work for any of the teams, so I'm not really beholden to any of them. But for you, you have to walk this fine line around creating content that is honest and truthful for the team, but also in some ways, you're also trying to promote them in a positive way. How do you walk that line, and how often do you find yourself having to make a tough decision?
So when I first got brought on the Curse, it was like in the transition between Curse becoming TL. So one of the conversations that I had with Steve Aronset week one was, I want to shoot everything. So literally everything that happens, like players are excited and they're at dinner, like let's shoot it. Like someone gets into a fight and someone's screaming, or like anything that is real that happens, like I'm gonna shoot it. And he was 100% down. Like if you go back to like Curse and previously, like they used to 24-hour stream their house. So for him, it was like something that was kind of like renewing. He's like, okay, yeah, like we could do this. We've done it before. So for me, it was essentially like I had the free reign to cover whatever it was that I wanted. And then like when it comes into editing, like a lot of people would assume that maybe like the organization has a lot of like say in what goes in it. And it's pretty much just my own judgment. So like I don't have anything like pre-screened by like HTC or by Steve. I just kind of use my best judgment, and I'll, like maybe I'll throw some ideas by Aronset or by the team to make sure that they're comfortable with certain stuff, or like with Joka, like we talk a lot about things. So it's essentially just trying to be super genuine without endangering anyone's personal life.
But I mean, certainly some of the stuff in the show has brought community criticism to different people. Famously, people know that Joka, the general manager, was under a decent amount of criticism for his interactions. I mean, this wasn't part of the show, but his interactions with Piglet, and then people have said Dominate, like certain things that he said there made it seem like there was an issue between him and some of the other team players. Do you ever feel like, is it strange? Because obviously you know these guys pretty intimately. Is it strange at all to be putting in footage that may or may not invoke some sort of community reaction, positive or negative?
So I think the main goal for me is to tell the story that's actually happening. And that's 100% like my goal and focus is like what is really happening on the team, and that's what I'm going to convey to the audience. So if what's really happening on the team is that, like Dominate feels a certain way, or, Joka has something to say, or like a Piglet sort of something, like I'm going to put that in as much as possible. Because I think that in order for the audience to understand why it is we're making specific decisions, like maybe on the roster, or in terms of like who we're scrimming, who we're not scrimming with, like those things need to be transparent so that people don't just think that we're randomly pulling stuff out of a hat in how we make our decisions. Yeah. And I think a lot of the community, for the most part, like understood, like, oh, I get why they're making these decisions, like because I've seen it in the show. Like I know the dynamic. Yeah. At least that's what the goal is, right?
And do shit to Piglet. Kind of. Joka yelling he didn't do anything to Piglet. Maybe not in those language. One of the things that I kind of want to end this interview with, because so much of this was Rebirth, and now the season at least is done. We saw HTC Esports, I think it was HTC Esports, one of the HTC guys maybe in the Reddit thread commenting saying like, hey, do you guys think we should renew for a season 2? Should fans expect a season 2 of Rebirth?
Well, I've been shooting a lot of footage. So hopefully this Hawaii trip might be in some of Rebirth. My plan is to do a season 2. So yeah, I think so. It's up to HTC.
Okay.
So yeah, let's hope they do it.
So people, what you're saying is if it doesn't renew, it's all HTC's fault.
I cannot confirm or deny.
Okay. I mean, it's what you implied. I think is what I'm feeling right now.
I'm okay with
Is there anything you want to say to any of the fans out there that were like, "Oh my God, the production is so great on Rebirth. Oh, I really like this audio." All those people, I go into those comments on Reddit, and I'm like, I don't even know if this is real. Like, I've seen some Hollywood stuff. This guy doesn't seem that legit.
So in terms of like the production value, I think it's less like, oh, we have all this equipment and like, oh, like, maybe the people that are working on it, because it's not just me all the time. Like I have a couple of contractors that work with us, Rob from SK and Alex. Yeah, that one girl, Alex, has worked with us occasionally. They've helped. So it's not necessarily like the gear or the people. It's essentially like just shooting. I don't want to say as much as possible because there's a saying that like if you shoot too much, it's kind of bad. But it's just like trying to do what happened there.
I don't have the strength of like Quas or somebody like that, so I just switch hands. I've done 4 interviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll accept that.
Yeah.
I'd say that it's like just practicing and like watching as many like videos on like how to get a specific look on like content or like just literally like just going out with my camera and shooting in days that I'm not working has increased the production value because I know how to use my equipment better even when I had more limited equipment, and like just being familiar with the tools that are at my use I think is the most important thing.
So you're just bragging and saying right now the production's so good because I'm a professional. That's what it sounds like.
I mean, that's like probably 10% of it. I think 90% is just trying to be pretty genuine with the stuff that we shoot.
Very good. Thank you so much, Damian Estrada, at Damian Estrada on Twitter, for the interview. Everyone else can check out the rest of my content, which many people find even better than Rebirth, at GameSpot.com/LOL.